Chris Johnson, Vice President of Communications for the Fuller Center for Housing, and I'm here with Jeff Cardwell, who is the chairman of our board of directors, but also the founder and president of People Helping People, which is our partner down in El Salvador, at least for the housing component of what People Helping People does. We're their partner, but also do many things, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But as I understand it, you just got back from El Salvador recently, so tell me what you saw down there. This is one of our most productive partners in the world right now.
Well, first of all, I got to say, being from Indiana, a little bit northern part here, we've had a very long and dark winter, and going down to El Salvador and seeing a little bit of the sunshine was a welcome break. And so it was just it was a great trip. So first of all, that's my biggest report is I got to see some sunshine, and
no
it was
snow.
warm. We had a little bit of a cold spell just a couple of weeks ago here in Indiana. We had an unusual snowstorm. We got 2 inches of snow, and that is not normal for this time of the year. And then left here, and when I landed in El Salvador, of course, you land there at the airport, you're at sea level. It was like 94 degrees with the heat index at 106. So it was a definite change leaving from Indiana. But visiting El Salvador was great. And this trip here was to go down to just during this, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been working as People Helping People to really build a center for hope, to bring all of our offices and everything together. Looking for a location, looking to build one, and we found one about 1.5 years ago, and we were able to buy it. And so for the last year, it's been under renovation and rehab, and so the goal was this time to go down and just kind of explore before we start taking teams down, just to see how things were operating in a COVID environment, and then also get the opportunity to see the offices and the new Center for Hope all up and running. So that was kind of the mission going out this time, just to kind of do some advanced work before we start bringing in a lot of teams.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about the Center for Hope in a minute, but you had a chance to tour El Espino, a community, Fuller Center community, where we recently dedicated 30-something homes and have 30-something more underway. And we also have a lot more additional homes going up in the Nuevo Cuscatlan area. You had a chance to look at these projects. Kind of what did you see? What was your impression?
Well, first of all, I encourage and invite everybody that's interested in watching this video to put it on your calendar, make it a choice to go to El Salvador and see it for yourself. But it's very something that's very inspirational, that it's incredible to see the work of the Fuller Center. David Snell and I had the opportunity to tour this land and to review this project a little bit over 1 year ago, when it was just an open field in Espinino. And this open field, we walked it, and we were hoping to get started on it, right away. And of course, then COVID hit and things kind of slowed down a little bit, and we had to adjust our plans. But this project is incredible, and I was just amazed to see how much work has been accomplished. The families, I get to visit with a number of the families that are currently living there on site, and we got to visit the construction site where the homes are being built now, and it's amazing the work that's being done and the team that's on the ground that's working there, that's making things happen. And they're going to have a full dedication. That project will be complete here in very short order, and the dedication is coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product.
Now, one of the things COVID did was kind of put a halt to our global builders trips to El Salvador for a while, but they've made up for a lot of that and had all summer by using a lot of prison labor. A lot of people are taken aback when they hear you're using prison labor. Kind of, what are your thoughts on how they're doing that?
This is a fantastic program. The Fuller Center, and back years ago working with Millard during his days at Habitat for Humanity, we had some opportunities to work with domestic prison ministries across the United States. And we had some prison programs where they were building kitchen cabinets for us, actually doing and building walls and different things. This is just a fantastic program. I think one of the things that people don't realize about when you're working with reentry programs and prisoners and different things they need to realize that 95% of the people that's in these prisons, they're going to be out someday, and they're going to be reintegrating back into society. And what we want from that, and what they want, is to be productive citizens, and they need to learn. This gives an opportunity to learn new skills, new trade skills that will help them as they reenter society. So this program in El Salvador is just fantastic. This is just really a marriage made in heaven for the Fuller Center during this global pandemic, because, like you said, we were very limited. We're not able to send our global builders teams out, and but this project needed to move forward. And by utilizing the prison population and some of these prisoners that their time is just about up and they're going to be re-entering society, it's a win-win for both groups. It helps us get back on schedule. In fact, our production, we're ahead of schedule. It's ahead of schedule and doing very, very well. And it's because of our partnership with the prison ministry there and with the prisoners that we're working with. Now, we'll say too, the other part of this, the good part of this, is they're learning new skills. Some of these people have never been in construction. They're now learning construction trade skills that will be very beneficial to them as they re-enter the private sector. And so, and I think we'll find soon too that when some of them are out in the public again and out in the private sector, there'll be volunteers coming back to see our project, because it's changed them too. They see that this is an opportunity for them to give back to some families that are in desperate need. And so it's a very eye-opening opportunity for them as well.
Now, we work in about 20 different countries right now, and sometimes navigating the governmental bureaucracy and obstacles is tricky sometimes. Now, you've gotten to know some of the powers that be in El Salvador, particularly some of the ones who've come to power in recent years here, both locally and on a national level. How would you describe their acceptance of what the Fuller Center is doing, particularly on the housing front?
Well, for a number of years, we've been working in El Salvador. I mean, we first started working there in June of 2000. So we're in our 21st year of working there. And so throughout that time working there, we found out that a lot of their wants and needs and goals are the same as what we have here in America. We're all looking to build better communities in which we all live, work, raise our families, and spend our time. And so even though that, I've been going there for more than 20 years, I still don't speak the language. I still have to have a translator. But I find that we do all have the same family values and dreams for our families and different things. And the same goes true for many of these elected officials in these local communities. Many of them run for office as a mayor because they felt they wanted to give back and they wanted to make a difference in their community. And so we've been there and now have become trusted partners within the community. And we've got to know the local mayors. And as we're working with them, one of the things that's the hardest thing for the Fuller Center, no matter where we're at, is to obtain ground free and clear. A lot of times, money. A lot of times people think raising money is the most important thing. Well, it is very important, and we need the donations, we need the funds, but obtaining the ground that's free and clear is a very difficult task, especially in any of these foreign countries that we're working in. And so usually the mayors are someone that has access to ground within their cities that maybe the public doesn't have access to, and we certainly don't have access to. And so partnering up with the mayors are always looking for affordable housing. No matter what community you're in, they're looking for affordable housing. So it really is a good partnership between the Fuller Center for Housing and these local governments. And working in El Salvador, we got to meet the local mayor at that time in Nuevo Castellan, Michelle Sol. She was a great mayor of that city, just very passionate, and she just had a heart for the people. And we got to really see her heart in action and working with side by side with many of these people. And She
She's
was
certainly gone on to some bigger things, and she is she's very
absolutely,
visible too.
she's very visible, but she does have a really a heart for the people, and she just did a great job working with us. And through that, we built a long-term relationship. And then recently, in the last year, couple of years, when President Nayib Bukele became president of El Salvador, he tapped her to be his Minister of Housing. So today, she's been elevated to Minister of Housing. And I asked her right after the election, and after she took that post, we were in contact together. And I asked her, I said, "Hey, how can we help serve you better? What can we do to help you in your new role as you're helping the people?" And she says, "Jeff," she says, "the best thing that you can help me with is," she says, "take what the Fuller Center for Housing has done in my hometown of Nuevo Castellan." And she says, "duplicate it 263 times." And I said, "Well, what do you mean 263 times?" And she says, "There's 263 mayors across the country of El Salvador." And she says, "Every city needs the solution for affordable housing, and Fuller Center for Housing delivers that." And so that's very high praise coming from somebody that sits today in the president's cabinet there in El Salvador. And so the Fuller Center for Housing has done a tremendous job, and I think that's why you're seeing explosive growth in El Salvador for the Fuller Center. But more importantly for America, I look at the top of the news right now. Everybody talks about the border crisis and what's happening at the border and different things. And the border and what's going on there right now is just a symptom. The root of the problem is really within these countries where these people are trying to find security and economic opportunity. And when you lack security, when people don't feel safe at their home, or they don't have any economic opportunity, of course they're looking for a land of milk and honey. But if you can provide them with national security and you can provide them with economic opportunities within their own community, no one wants to leave home. They want to stay at home. They want to be there. So I think the solution that we have provided and the resources that we're providing, this is the best answer to America's migration problem that anyone could ever ask for. It's a whole lot cheaper than the money and the solutions that we're currently having along our border. But this is a way that we could really provide a solution to the migration. And so I'm very excited about what the Fuller Center has been able to accomplish and what we continue to do, and some of the wraparound resources that we bring to the table from people helping people help advance the cause for the Fuller Center in these communities that we're building. And of course, we've moved on. We've duplicated this effort not only in Nuevo Castellan, but we've taken that program, we've taken it to Ahuachapan there. We're also doing it there in San Salvador in the suburbs there. And we're going to continue to grow and do more with it across the entire country and across the region.
Now, you mentioned the Center for Hope earlier, and to me, this sounds like just an incredibly busy place, but it also seems to exemplify what People Helping People Network is all about.
Yeah, and we call it the hope equation, and this really came about through my work with Millard Fuller. He was one of my mentors, and I had the privilege and was very blessed to get to know Millard and travel with him. In fact, his last international trip that he took was to El Salvador, and I was on that trip with him, and we spent a lot of time together. But I remember years ago from some of the work that we did in Guatemala and some of the other places, and I just, being in my career, my professional career, I've been in the lumber and building materials business all my life. So I first got acquainted with Millard and his work in the early 90s. And so it wasn't until 10 years later, in the 2000s, that I got into some of the international work and international travel. But as we were doing some of this international work and building houses throughout Central America and different things, where he's dedicating these homes. And one of the things that I saw, that it was great to dedicate the house and very emotional, work all week, and you're just extremely tired, you're wore out, and then you take that time at the end of the week to dedicate the house, and you turn over those keys, anybody that's ever done that, and many people watching this have done that. It's a very emotional moment. It's a very heart wrenching time. I mean, it's just so many emotions at that time. You know, you're turning over keys to a house to a family that's they never thought they could ever achieve this in their lifetime, and it's a wonderful thing. And I've had that experience many times, and I just love that. And I guess that's where you get infected with what Millard would call back then hepatitis, or Fulleritis as we call it now. I mean, once you're infected with Fulleritis, it goes with you for a lifetime, and the only cure you can have is get back out on the job and do it again. That's the only treatment available. And so I was infected with Fulleritis from that moment. But I did notice at that time, when we turn over those keys and the people take the time and they move into this new home and different things, everybody was moving in. And I remember a family that we moved into a house in Guatemala. We worked all week that week, and it was a single mom. She had 4 children. And so I took my construction team and we walked up the side of the mountain. We were going up to her house where she was, and we walked up there. All of us are going up there so we could help her carry her furniture down, help her move in, get all of her belongings, and get all of her stuff. And we thought, well, we'll all go up there and we'll help her and we'll get her moved in. Well, we get up there, and when we get up there, basically there was just a couple of bags of clothes, a few pots and pans, and a few little things. And there's 6 or 7 of us all standing around, and it only needed her and maybe a couple of people had a handful of stuff, and half the team walked back down the hill empty-handed. And it was at that moment that we realized that she's moving into a new house, and everything that she has is carried by just a couple of people, and we're moving in. And we thought, man, we got to do more. I mean, these people, they got a new home now, but they have no food. And all the kids need medical attention. They need a little bit of help, and she needs a new sewing machine for economic security to move forward and to support her family. And so with that, from that first trip in 2000 to El Salvador was birthed the People Helping People Network. And what that is all about is really the hope equation, bringing the other wraparound resources to the table. The Fuller Center is our housing partner. We don't want to build houses. America doesn't need another nonprofit organization duplicating services and splitting up resources. What we want to do is support the Fuller Center for Housing in every way that we possibly can. But as they build those houses, we want to come in and provide the other resources needed by partnering with food partners such as Convoy of Hope, the World Food Program, and others to bring food security to those families. Then we partner with people with medical expertise. MCK Foundation, Making Christ Known, is the foundation that a doctor of ours has founded, and that organization, that's Dr. Mike Elmore. He is the founder of that organization, and he's brought many doctors and dentists to come into these organizations with us in these countries and travel with us to provide the medical needs. And then we also try to work with the local churches in all the communities. We say housing, hunger relief, and healthcare plus education multiplied by faith equals hope. And so our goal is to bring those other resources to the table to help make the Fuller Center for Housing communities sustainable for long term. We find that if we can help them, with food security, we help them with, education opportunities where they can get vocational training to where they can be viable in the community and earn a living. They become better homeowners. They pay their mortgage and to the Fuller Center for Housing, and then we can take that income, just as we always do, and reinvest it back into building more houses for more people in need. And so that's kind of the life cycle for what the Fuller Center for Housing and how the Fuller Center for Housing and People Helping People work together in these communities.
And of course, the Center for Hope seems like it's got a little bit of all that going on there.
Yeah, and that's the goal for the Center for Hope. The Center for Hope is our housing of all of these operations. Of course, it's the offices for the Fuller Center for Housing. So all of our offices for our accounting department, our construction teams, and everything. Our executive team, our executive director, Lisa Lott, is all housed within the executive offices. But we have the medical clinic there. We have the dental clinic, and this is state-of-the-art dental clinic. We have an education center there to where we have vocational training. We're doing it. We have a culinary school that's in full operation there. In addition, in our medical center, we have a 12-bed facility for our breast cancer rehab center. And breast cancer is a very important issue for us. Lisa Lott, our executive director we worked with for years, was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2009. And from that, we helped her walk through that. But we found out that there was really no other facilities throughout Central America that dealt with the breast cancer situation. So it was a passion for her to help other women in that situation. So we have now a 12-bed respite center there within the Center for Hope. And so it brings it all together under one roof. And so when people go there to visit the Fuller Center for Housing Communities or the Fuller Center for Housing offices, they will be walking through what we call the Center for Hope, and it brings all of those resources together so that we can help make these communities long-term sustainable and grow and healthy, really to help us in our mission to duplicate this 263 times across the country.
Now, you clearly, after 20 years, had developed quite the love for El Salvador. What is it about the people there, the country? I'm sure there are all kinds of countries where people get connected to, but what is it about El Salvador and you?
Well, it was my first international mission trip. I went there with really unwillingly. I didn't want to go. I went there really.
You've made up for that.
Yeah, well, I went there. You know, it was kind of forced from my wife at the time because I had my daughter at church. The youth pastor was mentioning, hey, we want to do a summer youth trip, and different ones go down and go on this international mission. And my daughter, she was 11 years old at that time. She wasn't quite in the youth. She wasn't old enough really to be in the youth group. They always tried to let them be, 13 years old before they go in. But my daughter was always a little bit more mature for her age and different things. And she got along really well with the youth minister, and she had already convinced him, said, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to go on this trip. And so she came to me and she asked me, she said, hey, Dad, can I go on this mission trip, with the youth group? And, I didn't even know where they were going. I said, well, sure you can. That'd be fine. That'd be great. And so I went home, told my wife about it and said, hey, where are they going? I said, well, I'm not sure. And I said, well, I'll find out. And so told them where they was going. And then she says, you did what? You told her she could go where? And she was really upset with me and not a happy camper about that. And I said, oh, she'll be fine, and she'll do really well. She'll be fine and she'll be safe. And back then, if you would read anything about El Salvador, it was not pleasant what was online. It scared anybody to death. And so long story short, over time, the compromise in order for my daughter to be able to go was that I was going with her and I was going to be a chaperone. And of course, being in the lumber business and the hardware business, June is our busy time. You got to make hay when the sun shines. And so it was a really difficult time to be going, and I was very reluctant to go. But I ended up going in June of 2000. And as I got there, it was really a God appointment for me. God just touched my life. It just changed my life forever. And I found out my calling, and this was something that has become near and dear to my heart. I consider it a second home today. Made some friends with some people there that now I just feel that is part of my family. I was just caught up in today's world here at home, and I've been very blessed here at home. Got the world's greatest parents, that a good Christian family. I was raised in a good Christian family, but it was, I've had great success here in America, and I was on the gerbil wheel. I was going like crazy, and materialism and all of these different things back then at that time, and got to see a simpler way of life, and just to see the beauty of the country and the families, how they were loving to each other, and the way they celebrated just birthdays and different things. It was just it was something that was missing in my life. I got to meet these people, and I said, hey, this is what I want to do. And ever since then, I've been going back multiple times every year since. And so it was just the first country. People ask me why El Salvador, and I said, well, it was the first country I went to with my daughter. Fell in love with the people, fell in love with the country, and so I've kind of made it a second home, and I'm very passionate about it, and I love going back. And anybody that's watching this video that wants to come to El Salvador and experience an opportunity of a lifetime with the Fuller Center for Housing, I invite you to contact us. Go on our website, fullercenter.org, check it out. Sign up for one of the Global Builders trips. It'll change your life forever. You will enjoy it. It's just, the land there is beautiful. You've got mountains, you've got ocean, and you got beautiful sunshine. So they got two seasons, rainy season and summer. And I just I love the climate, love the area, and looking forward to going back.
You haven't done the surfing thing, have you?
You know, I haven't done the surfing, but I will tell you, on my recent trip there, one of the things that the president is focused on, the new president there for economic development, is looking at how can they expand the country's tourism, and how can they expand, international travel. And one of the things that they have, there's surfers that come there from around the world to go surfing. And so they have a city there called Surf City. And the president has focused on promoting Surf City in El Salvador. And they just built a new highway from San Salvador to Surf City that you can get to it in just a matter of a few minutes. And it's a spectacular new highway. We took it and went out to the beach to see the Surf City, and it's an incredible thing. And I think it's going to be a great tourism draw for the country. But I see a lot of new opportunities for Central America and for El Salvador in particular as we go forward. And I think this could be a great opportunity, reflecting back on what I said earlier about the migration program and what the Fuller Center offers. I think this is a very unique opportunity. And I've invited several people that are elected officials to come down and see the solution we're providing. I think what the Fuller Center is doing in rebuilding communities and rebuilding these cities is a great opportunity, and could be a great learning opportunity for many of the elected officials to really see a long-term solution in action. But I look at it as a long-term plan. If America, if we would have a paradigm shift in the way that we look at it today, when you mention Central America or you mention El Salvador or anything in any conversation, first thing people think about is, crime, MS-13, the gangs and different things. Is it safe? I can tell you they've come a long way. It is safe, and we can help them in rebuilding their community, but they look at it as a liability. And I think this Central America opportunity and the opportunity that we have in El Salvador can be, instead of looking at it as an opportunity, American can look at it as a long-term asset. I think we can turn this in. They love America there. And I think their country is beautiful. They've got tropical climate. It could be a great tourist attraction, and it could be a great economic partner for the future in manufacturing and a trading partner. And I think if we take a long view at it, just like we look at back in the 50s and 60s with the Marshall Plan, take that view of Central America, we could, in business, one of the things we're always looking to do is expand our market share. And this is a great opportunity for America to expand its market share into Central America and create and help support, our neighboring countries here, and help them lift their quality of life and grow their economies just as we want to do here at home.
So you've seen a lot happen over the last 20 years in El Salvador. What do you hope to see? Or you touched on some of it, but kind of what's your vision for El Salvador in the next 20 years, or your hopes?
Well, I think we have a very unique opportunity right now. We have a government in charge there now that is very friendly to America. They have a high regard for America and a high respect. And I think this is an opportunity for us all to embrace that, embrace this change, and look for opportunities of growth. I mean, take the politics out of this and just look at economics. Look at they've got a great manufacturing industrial park there in El Salvador. The other thing that, from economic standpoint, they are on the U.S. dollar. So when we're talking about money exchange and different things like that with several of the other countries throughout Central America, you don't have that problem in El Salvador. They are on the U.S. dollar. Many people that's never been there before are very shocked to hear that. And I said, so you don't have to go down there and change your money or anything. So it makes it very attractive for American enterprise and American companies to go and look for opportunities of expansion and growth there. So I just see it as a great opportunity. It's a diamond in the rough. And I think 20 years from now, we're going to see a lot more tourism. And people are going to put it on their, just like they're going now, you see them going to Cancun or going to Florida or going to St. Martin and the other islands. I think you'll soon see this with not only El Salvador, you'll see it in Guatemala. If they've never been to Antigua, it's a special place there in Antigua to see that, a beautiful city. But coming to El Salvador, there's a lot of great things to see. You can go see the beaches, or you can go up and you can spend a day climbing a volcano and adventure travel. And you'll love the country and you'll love the people.
Well, anything else you'd like to add before we go?
No, just to invite people, if you're excited about an opportunity to travel with a purpose and get involved with the Fuller Center, go to the website, fullercenter.org, check it out, sign up for one of the global mission trips. We do offer a trip through People Helping People. That's a vision trip for the people. I know a lot of times there's business leaders and different things that want to support what the Fuller Center does. And a lot of times they just don't have the opportunity where they can take off a week and go and work in the field and work along on the Global Builders projects. So for an alternative, we do what we call short vision trips for people that want to see what we're doing, see how their dollars are invested. We'll do a mission trip. It's not really a working trip. It is a vision trip, so people can actually go to the communities, see the housing programs, see what we're doing. They'll also visit the Center for Hope, see our healthcare programs. We'll go out and do a food distribution. You'll see our partners with the Convoy of Hope and what we're doing there, and experience the whole hope equation on how we're doing and get a holistic approach. But the main thing is just to introduce them to, so that you can actually see for yourself how your dollars are invested and how you're really making a difference to change the world. So I just invite anybody that has an interest or a passion for serving others and helping people, go to the Fuller Center website, check it out, and get involved. It'll change your life forever. It's good medicine for the heart.
And we'll have the links to Fuller Center and People Helping People on our website and accompanying this video. When are you going back?
Well, I'm actually going back here in the next 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. I'm going to go down and visit, and we actually are taking down some medical supplies to the medical center to help them complete their operations there. We are going to go out and visit the housing projects, do some food distribution, but just kind of go there and get everything fine-tuned. As we're reopening, we've got a lot of people looking at these Global Builders trips. We want to be ready, and so we're going to go down and get everything prepared. But, Chris, I want to say special thanks to you. I mean, I know you work hard on the website. You're a very gifted writer. I appreciate all the stories you write, your emails that you send out, and different things to keep everybody up to date. And thank you for sharing your gifts and your talents with the people of the Fuller Center. Just very grateful for the heart of the entire team in our international offices, and just thank you for serving.
Well, I do appreciate that. And I believe David Snell will be on that trip, our president. So if you would just a personal favor, if you get him on a surfboard and maybe shoot a little video, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that would be of interest to a lot of our partners around the world. So
could ruin
interesting times. David's been my travel buddy for many, many years, and I can't say enough good things about David. He has such a great heart, and he
speaks Spanish.
And he does. He's my translator. I mean, there's been many times I'd go hungry if it wasn't for David on our trip. So, but no, he is he's a joy to travel with, and I just love him dearly. And I can think of no better person to be leading the Fuller Center today than David. I mean, he was a special friend to Millard Fuller, and he's doing a great job in his leadership with the Fuller Center, and I'm very grateful to call him my friend.
Well, David, Jeff, we sure, you got me talking about David now. We sure appreciate everything you've done for the people of El Salvador, for the Fuller Center, for the people in Indianapolis and Indiana. Just thanks so much for your life of service.
Well, it's a pleasure and it's a great privilege. And I got to tell you, I get more out of it than I could ever give to anybody else. I mean, this is medicine for me. People say, well, why do you always go on these trips, and where are you going, or what are you doing? You're always helping somebody. And for me, it's just great medicine for just for my soul. And I love being a part of giving back, and I love being surrounded with people, with the same mission. That's one of the things that I've always loved about when I'm out on one of the build sites with the Fuller Center teams. You've got like-minded people from all walks of life. I mean, I've served with business executives, I've had attorneys, I've had professionals, just all different types of people on these job sites, and it's just I've made some great friendships that are just near and dear to me. And so I look forward to every trip, and I can't wait for the next one. And I hope to see you, and I'm looking forward to seeing David here very soon on a trip. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to change the world.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jeff.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.